Hey everyone, Saintsfan back again with another GTA 5 video, and today we're doing something a bit different. This is another top 5 video, but as you can tell from the title, we're going to be doing the top 5 worst purchases I've made in GTA Online. Now, always with these top 5 videos, I love when you guys contribute and give me feedback and let me know what your opinion is. So in the comment section, it'd be awesome if you could let me know what your worst purchases that you've made in GTA Online were. And who knows, if you guys do enjoy this video, maybe we could do a top 5 best purchases. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, but if you are, let me know with a like on the video and in the comment section. Without further ado though, so these aren't really in a particular order, but the first one I'm gonna start with contains a lot. This is gonna be like number 5 is a combination of clothing, weapons, and Pegasus vehicles, because I could do like a top 50 list on all of those, but I figured I would just combine them into one. So the first one, the masks. Without a doubt, one of my worst purchases, or some of my worst purchases, were all the damn masks. I don't know what my mind was thinking, like what was going through my mind when I decided to purchase them all. Like the biggest one, the biggest pain for me are all the balaclavas. I never use them, and no one ever uses them for Fashion Friday outfits. So there's like 30 of them just chilling in my inventory, in my whatever style category mask section, and I have to scroll through them every single time. And I mean, that doesn't even include all the old masks and all the criminal masks and all the, you know, animal and monster masks that have come out over the years. I mean, it just furthers the point that I always go back to, that I wish we had some sort of clothing store, like clothing closet, I guess, not store, but clothing closet, where we could go and store the clothes and masks and stuff that we bought that we don't want to use or that we don't want to see. Kind of like how the gun rack works with the guns. And all of the clothing that I've bought over the year, I wouldn't say that's one of my worst purchases, because there's some really awesome stuff. And honestly, the masks wouldn't be that bad if I could choose which one from a clothing store. But you got to go to the freaking beach, which is out in the middle of nowhere. And it's a pain to change your mask. So I for sure, the masks are like, most of the masks I would say are some of my worst purchases. Moving next, we have the weapons. I would say all of the like starter and secondary weapons, like all the initial weapons you got, those are some horrible purchases, because they just take up space. And I know there's the gun safe that you can go to and you can get rid of them that way, but the biggest problem, at least for me, is when you're in a car, because you got to scroll through all those freaking guns to get to whatever, and then if you pass it up, you got to go through it all the way again. So I would say the weapons are kind of some of the worst purchases. Plus, like, I mean, maybe I'm just a different person than everyone else in the game, but I don't really use that many weapons. I use maybe one assault rifle, definitely the heavy sniper, and then maybe the RPG. Like, I'm a simple guy, so I don't know why I bought all those damn weapons. You just take up space. And then the last part of number 5, like 80% of my Pegasus vehicles. Now, I will put a little asterisk on this, because most of them I did not buy, or most of them I did buy when the billionaire days were around. Like most of you guys, if you played from the beginning, you know what I'm talking about. At one point, there was a time in GTA Online where literally $1 billion bounties were being placed on people, and if you killed them, you would receive $1 billion. So you can imagine how much money people had at that time. That was right before the money apocalypse. But when people had that money, they bought every single Pegasus vehicle, and I was one of them. And unfortunately, kind of like the masks, I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea, because I never use any of them. I mean, let's just go through some of them. We got the not even including the prices, because, you know, the prices, that's one thing, but the submarine, that's a useless thing, because you never go in the water. And boats, I mean, boats are really useless, because you can't get anywhere through the water. Like, there's not rivers or anything like in previous GTA games. I mean, there are rivers, I know, but they don't really go anywhere. So boats and the submarine are kind of pointless in the game. I mean, you got the jets and stuff, all the planes. Half of those are useless. The Miljet's like $1.7 million. I bought it. When do I use it? I don't even think I used it once. Like, I just bought it because I apparently wanted it or something. I mean, the only plane that's somewhat decent to have is the Hydra, and then perhaps, I think it's the Besra, like the military jet without the guns on it. I forget what, there's like, they all sound the same to me. But those are probably the only two, because you could buy the Titan. I think I have the Titan. I don't know why I bought the Titan, because it freaking spawns everywhere. And then the same goes for the Luxor. I mean, the Luxor spawns everywhere too. There's like 10 different spawn points in the airport, and you gotta buy, or, you know, if you did buy it, you wasted $2 million because of it. And I mean, I'm not gonna hate at least on the golden versions, because I kind of use them sometimes, especially now that they make it easier to use with, like, well, the helicopter, at least, with the office ability to spawn in your own helicopter. But there's just a lot of boats and a lot of air vehicles that I bought that I'd never really used. And the last part of the Pegasus vehicles is all the military stuff. I mean, well, this isn't really military, but the Marshal, why did I buy the Marshal? I mean, that was after the Liberator, which was the first monster truck, and I'm not too mad about that one because it's a limited time vehicle. It looks cool. I don't really use it that often, but it's, you know, it's a fun vehicle to use sometimes. I did use it back when it first came out, but then the Marshal came out and I bought it for $500,000 when it's worse than the Liberator. Like, I don't know why I bought the Marshal. It's basically worthless. I don't think I've ever used it either. Some of the other military stuff, I mean, the tank. Now, granted, you could say you got your money's worth back when it first came out, and I probably did, but the tank's kind of horrible now, so it's kind of a useless item. The Valkyrie, I mean, I guess it's good if you have a squadron of people, but if you play solo, the Valkyrie is $3 million down the drain. There's just a lot of Pegasus vehicles. I don't want to hate too much on the Pegasus vehicles because I know they are extra, but those were by far some of the worst purchases I think I've ever made in GTA Online. Now, that's number 5. So, number 4, I would have to say the goddamn safe in my office. Why did I buy this thing, Rockstar? They tricked me, man. I thought I could use it to, like, store money or put, not store money, because you can store money, but I thought I could use it to, like, do something with my money, but no! It's worthless. You're making me pay, like, $400,000 to literally look at my money. I don't understand what went through their heads when they're like, you know what we can do? Let's add a safe to the office that does absolutely nothing and charge them $400,000 or maybe $500,000. I don't even know the cost of it. That might single-handedly be the worst purchase I've ever made in GTA Online. Like, if I could go through everything, that's probably the worst thing, simply because it does absolutely nothing. So that's number 4. Number 3, the stilt houses. Now, I don't actually own one anymore because I got smart and I sold it. But I did own I believe it's the highest one, the $800,000 one. And I don't know why I bought this damn thing. That was one of the worst purchases. That's like one of the only things I've actually sold after I, purchased it. Most of the cars and stuff I have, I purchased, I still have. But that stilt house was so bad, I had to sell it to get another apartment. Because this stilt house is one, to get to them, you had to go through all those damn windy roads. And that's one issue, man. Because especially with the AI driving and all that, God, who knows, like, how long it's going to take you to get there, because you'll hit like 17 different people, NPCs driving around, and it's a cluster to sort of get to the house. That's the first part. And then 2, like, the house itself isn't bad, but you gotta go outside of your house to go into the garage. There's no connecting door. Like, what kind of house doesn't have a connecting door to the garage? What kind of house in real life do you have to go outside of the house to go into the garage? It just don't make sense. So that's like the biggest reason why I hate stilt houses, and that's why it's one of the worst purchases I've made, because it's so impractical, and you have to go through like more loading screens. That's the one thing I hate about GTA. So the stilt houses are definitely up there. Number 2, and again, this is in no particular order, but I would have to say the only car, apart from the lowriders, which I'll get into in a second, the only car that I could say was a mistake or was a super bad purchase, and in hindsight it is, at least at the time we didn't know, but the Osiris, that's the only car in my garage that I really never use, and it cost what, like $2 million at the time, and at the time it came out, it was the best supercar. So that's why, at the time it was actually pretty good. It wasn't a bad purchase. But then a month later they released the T20, and then I mean, since then there's been so many supercars that it's gotten overlooked, and it's a waste of $2 million. I haven't sold it because I don't know. I don't like selling cars, but it's by far one of the worst purchases I've made when it comes to vehicles. And I'm sure the links might be on this list for some people, but I was actually smart enough. I didn't buy the links. So thank God I didn't have to go through that. Getting back to the lowriders are if I had to like just class together a group of cars as like the worst ones, it'd be the lowriders. Because if you think about it, I mean, now granted, look, this is all opinions. So if you like the lowriders, that's fine. I mean, I don't hate them, but for the amount of money it costs me and the amount of use I get out of them, it is by definition a bad purchase because I never use them and I paid a lot of money for them. Like, the thing is with other vehicles in the game, sports cars, supercars, you can use them, or they're practical in free roam. They're fast, you can get around quickly, they have good handling, they're not a pain to drive. Bikes, you could call them through your interaction menu. They are also quick, fast, and all that stuff. Trucks, you can use them for off-roading purposes. But lowriders, there is no purpose for lowriders apart from just looking cool. I say that in quotes because, you know, some people, and I'm sure people would probably agree that my cars don't look cool, but the lowriders in the game, you can't call them through your interaction menu. They're really bad to drive. I mean, I think the Sabre Turbo is the only one that's somewhat decent in terms of driving, but they have horrible handling. They're not really fast. In free roam, you'll get like smoked if a Hydra's coming after you or if a guy in an armored Kuruma is coming after you. The only redeeming quality is that they look good. They have a lot of customization, but I don't think that really justifies it. So that's why I would say it's these lowriders are some of the worst purchases I've ever had, because apart from that like 3-day period after they came out, I have never touched one of the lowriders. And then the last one, number 1, again, this is in no particular order, but just because it's, I guess, the most recent, my weed business. I don't know why I bought this damn thing. I mean, I guess if I would have bought like the Coke business, I wouldn't be as upset. But oh my god, the weed business is so bad. The payouts are horrible. The delivery missions are so slow. Like, I like the concept of the businesses and all that, but oh my god. One of the missions, this is what made me quit businesses. One of the missions, I had a full weed house or whatever, full product, and I went to go sell it. And I was doing it solo, so maybe you could say, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing solo. But I was doing it solo. And my weed business was up in Sandy Shores. I had to go into the city with I guess like a mail truck, like the trucks that, you guys know what I'm talking about, the slow trucks that they give you in those damn missions. And I had to deliver like 10 or 15 different spots all across the city in 30 minutes. It took me 15 minutes to just get to the damn first spot. And then I had to go, like, once I went through the first batch, because there was 2 trucks since it was a full, batch, there was 2 trucks. I had to go all the way back. And before I even sold them all, I was just like, F it, I'm done, because this is not worth it. I just blew up the trucks and I quit. And don't even get me started on LJT, man. That guy is so annoying. Hey, Saintsfan, go get some more supplies. It's like, bro, calm down. I don't need you to tell me that every 5 seconds. So the weed business for me by far is one of the worst purchases. I wasted money on it. I'm never going to reopen it. I shut it down. Never going to resupply it. In theory, it was a good idea, but it just did not work out. I mean, just the slow delivery times, the embarrassingly low payouts. It was not a fun experience with my weed business. So those are my worst purchases, or top 5 worst purchases, I would say, in GT Online. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know your list in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, though. Please drop a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more awesome GTA content. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.